We're back on the Cheap Seats 96.3 WLCN, the official voice of the Lincoln Railers. Cameron Kurtz and Josh Komnick. We're back, and Josh, I promised the listeners before we took a break that we will have the trivia question. We're going to have to take a little bit more time for this one. It's a little bit more difficult, but nonetheless, it's still a fun question. And we've got some a very nice Hampton Inn stay at the beautiful Hampton Inn out here on the west end of town in Lincoln. The Hampton Inn stay is up for grabs. To our first correct caller, 648-5510 is the number to call in if you haven't won in the last 30 days. And let's do it. Here is the question. What is the first NFL franchise to win Super Bowls in 2 different cities? Okay, so you got to think about NFL franchise that won a Super Bowl in 2 different cities. Need the name of that team, not necessarily the city, but just the name of the team. So 648-5510, the number to call in for that. If you haven't got it in the last 30 days, our general manager, Jim Ash, is waving his hand.
He thinks he knows it.
He thinks he knows it.
But he just won yesterday, so he's not getting the Hampton stay. So this team has to have been franchised in 2 different cities. Good.
And with that Hampton Inn stay, you get a stay, I believe it is a king or double bed, so you get your choice of that, and also breakfast.
Right.
So they'll go ahead and give you breakfast then.
Can't beat
the
that.
very next morning. So
Can't beat that.
And also a pool, something for the kids.
Right.
They got a pool out there and fitness center, jogging. You can do whatever you want out at the Hampton Inn. But that is our trivia question, and let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of college football action here, Josh.
Yeah.
We have the #1 team in the country, the Crimson Tide of Alabama. They're going at it against number 10 Arkansas today. That game is going to be played at 2:30. UCLA, they make the trip to Texas, the number 7th team in the country. 2:30 start time for that one as well. Oregon State and Boise State, they're going to go at it at 7 o'clock tonight. I'm sure that'll be a good game. Yes, that'll be a very good game, and a game that I believe is going to be televised on ABC later on tonight. Okay, we hear that sounder, so that means we have a caller. Caller, go ahead. Okay, he's answering with the Colts. That is not the correct answer. That is a very good guess, but it is not the Colts. It is a good guess, but not the Colts.
Uh-oh.
We got another one.
Hook now. Everybody's wanting to stay at the Hampton.
Alrighty, caller, go ahead. You're in the cheap seats.
Uh-oh. Call back.
He must have guessed the Colts too.
There you go.
We just heard a dial tone. So, all right.
Call back.
Oregon State and Boise State. Oregon State comes in at number 24. Boise State coming in at number 3. 7 o'clock. That start time for tonight. The Illini, of course, they're off this week.
Yep.
But their opponent for next week, the number 2 ranked team, Ohio State, and Eastern Michigan, 2:30 is their game today. What do you think of that game?
Well,
it's gonna be a walk in the park, isn't it?
Yeah, Ohio State's just kind of taking that's kind of like a bye week for them if they're going to, and then they've got the Illini coming up next. So I don't know that they prepared much for Eastern Michigan as much as they are the Illini, but that'll be a rough one for the Illini too, as far as young as they are, and the different coaches coming in this year. Anybody that's going to play Ohio State is going to be a tough test. But one of the big games as far as in this region of area is Stanford. Stanford will visit up in South Bend at Notre Dame, so that will be a good game. Of course, Stanford comes in ranked highly now in the Associated Press. I forget what they are, number 5, I believe.
Number 5.
And they were number 16. Number 16 visits to Notre Dame, but still Notre Dame struggling, and Stanford 3-0. So that will be one to watch. Of course, Notre Dame will be on TV. They're on TV every game.
And also Kentucky and Florida. Number 9, Florida, 6 o'clock tonight is that game. And my beloved Redbirds and Missouri State go at it tonight, 6 o'clock tonight up at Hancock Stadium in Normal, a game that I will be attending.
You'll be there
later on today.
There you go.
Josh, here's the story that's come out of the Big Ten, but before we get to that, there's the sounder once again. Caller, if you would, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the team that won 2 Super Bowls in different cities was the Raiders in Oakland and L.A.
You got it.
There you go. That is the correct answer. The Raiders won in Oakland in 1977 and 1981, and then in Los Angeles in 1984. Caller, if we could, get your name, please.
Kent Bowlby.
Kent Bowlby, alrighty. Well, Kent, you can stop on it.
I'm a Raider fan, too, so I remember those games.
So that was an easy question for you.
So my wife was out in the garage riding her bicycle, and she was out there exercising. She came in and said, they got a question on the radio, so I had to call in.
There you go. Well, yeah, for that correct answer, you're going to be one night stay at the Hampton Inn here in Lincoln, out on the west side of town. So we'll get down. Give us a call back if you didn't get your name and number to Paula, and we'll have those tickets here. If you want to stop here out at Blades Hair Nail Salon until 10, or we'll have it here probably all day. Somebody can get it out to you. They'll be open pretty much all day till just say noon.
Awesome.
And stop out here, and we'll have that for you, Kent.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Alrighty, Kent. Thank you for calling. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
So, Kent Bowlby, our winner on that one, Oakland and Los Angeles,
Nice.
the Raiders.
Yeah.
Alrighty. What were we talking about before? Oh, yeah, we were talking about college football. Story coming out of the Big Ten. It actually started a little bit last week, and it's getting a little bit more attention. Alabama and Michigan could be scheduled to play each other in the next upcoming years. There's talk that Alabama could be on the Big Ten schedule for 2012, and they're going to be added to Michigan's schedule for 2012. They're hoping that that game and the plans for that game are to be played at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington. What do you think of that, Josh? Do you think that it's smart for the SEC and the Big Ten to kind of get together, and two conferences that really don't play each other a whole lot during the year, but regardless to say that when they do play each other, it's a pretty big deal?
Well, it depends on when the game is going to be played. The problem with college football is you have two teams like an Alabama or a Michigan or an Alabama playing Ohio State, and most of the time those two teams, such as this year, Alabama and Ohio State, are going to be vying for a national championship. Well, you play that game at the end of the year, one of those teams is going to lose this game and probably knock themselves out of the national championship bid. The problem with college football is, if you lose at the end of the season, your national championship hopes are done for. You're wiped away. Now, if you play this in the third game of the season, great. You know, one team can lose, and they can still come back and maybe possibly only lose one game throughout the year and still make it to the national championship. But I think for the Big Ten and the SEC, it's great. Let's match up some more big-time teams, some more big-time conferences. All the press and the people and the fans want to see who's the best conference. For what's like basketball, they do the ACC Big Ten Challenge. It's kind of nice to see the SEC and the Big Ten get into it a little bit more in football rather than just being in a bowl game.
Do you think it's interesting, though, that they selected Michigan to be that opponent when that matchup? Why not take Ohio State in that one?
Yeah, I don't know what the reason behind
that. If they're looking to gather a little bit more attention on a larger scale game, well, why not just go for that?
Sure.
Not taking anything away from Michigan. Michigan, a very powerful team, very talented team. But I just think that Ohio State, if you were to schedule them up against Alabama, it'd be a bigger draw.
Well, I think you're right, and maybe Alabama didn't want Ohio State. Maybe they wanted a little bit easier of a game on that game, so they picked Michigan.
That could be it?
It could have been. I don't think Nick Saban shies away from competition, but you never know. Ann Arbor holds about 120,000. Maybe that's a thing. They want to get as many people in, and the SEC is going to get a kickback from the money of the tickets that Michigan's getting. I don't know, but why they picked Michigan, maybe we'll find out. But another story out of the Big Ten was the Michigan State coach having a heart attack after maybe the biggest call in his career last Saturday. He's fourth and 4, I think, from about the 30-yard line, and he fakes a field goal and throws it to his tight end for a touchdown to beat Notre Dame, and then later that night has a heart attack, maybe because of the call. I don't know, but wow, what an incident that went down. And they've been having articles now on these college coaches having the stress and the things like that and all this. And the guy was in tip-top shape. He ran and lifted weights every day and that kind of thing. So the call might have overdone him.
Might have done him in for that. Well, it'll be. No matter what happens with that game, of course, this is 2012 we're talking. We're not talking anything naturally for this year. We're not even talking next year. It's going to be 2 years before this game is even played yet. It'll be neat to see how everything pans out for them. We've got some action out of the NFL to talk about, and we've also got a little bit of NBA. We will also have Coach Shaner on later on in the show. But we're going to have to step aside and take another commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be back.